Hello again, race car fans. If you watch my channel, you know I like the McLaren F1. It's my favorite sports car of all time. And so this is the Hot Wheels of the GTR, and it's number 57 of 250. It's part of the Retro Racers series, number 3 of 10. Okay, interesting livery going on this guy. I bought this locally, so I managed to find two, and I just picked the one that looked better inside of the blister. But doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be perfect. Let's take a look at these GTR photos for comparison. Well, I do feel like the lights are not big enough. The graphic, that is, right? I mean, look how long that graphic is. This has got cut short quite a bit. Alright, let's see about the overall proportions here. The hood line, the roof line and stuff. Short tail. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Not so bad. The rear view of the Le Mans winning car there. Yeah, not so bad. Obviously the wing is a bit clownish because it has to be safe for a 3-year-old child to abuse, step on, bite on without it breaking off and the kid choking to death, so it's understandable. Alright, one thing we should probably check is the scale. So I looked up F1 GTR, the wheelbase is 2718. So let's take a look at the wheelbase of this model and multiply it by 64, or put it into that 2718 actually. Try to get into the center of these axles. I would say it's probably 44.3. 44.3. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I was accurate or not, it's just way off. It's more in the 161 category of scaling. Okay, so that means it's quite large. Well, let's see what kind of details we have here. Seems like they went with the more modern wheels that would have come on the long tail version of this car. Granted, there still aren't enough spokes, but you know, you can't get that many tight details into something that costs $1 or $2. The exposed axles obviously bothers me. I think I'm going to print up my own wheels. But what I love about Hot Wheels, tampo printing. It's very nice. There's even a texture in this recessed inlet. This is actually going in pretty far. There's some molded details on the windows there as well. This is a really nice, I don't know, it's not sky blue. It might look sky blue on the camera or your screen, but in my eyes it's much lighter than a typical sky blue. And I almost feel like there might be a tiny hint of green, almost like a mint blue. Maybe like a Jordan almond kind of color or something. Those are good candies. Let's see, so more printing here. We got some pretty deep recessed vents here, and there seems to be a texture. Yeah, you can hear the pick. So that's actually pretty nice. I'm going to guess that black plastic is the same as the interior or possibly the base. So the base also has a nice little texture as if it was carbon fiber, so that's a pretty cool touch that they did there. Originally came out in 2018 or something. Yeah, alright. So going up here, yeah, my criticism is that, although I gotta say, for printed on headlights, it's not too bad, I guess. Better than just a solid silver thing, which you would find from other brands. No paint in the turn signals, of course, but there is a printing here of this McLaren, although it's pretty hard to make out. Alright, some vent details all over the roof of this thing. And then the back wing, yes, naturally is quite ridiculous. Alright, no paint on the back panel either. And then we have 4 exhaust tips, part of the base coming out there. So that's actually kind of accurate. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna probably have to add my own paint here, which is nice. Is, you know, everything's recessed nicely that you could scrape off any excess if you mess up, which is what I always do. I never paint anything properly the first time. I usually have to use eyebrow Q-tips to clean off the excess. All right, well, there's some pretty decent interior for a Hot Wheels actually. There's a shift knob there. The seat's obviously in the center. A small little steering wheel, some vents and stuff. The raised wiper blade is nice. It's just not painted black, which again you can't expect for a mainline Hot Wheels. Alright, let's see what happens with my wheel choice. Alright, so here we are with some the appropriate GTR wheels, although I painted mine silver instead of the dark gray that is on most of the race cars. I just find it's easier to see the details the brighter the wheels are. I did paint the little hex black though, and then it has separate brakes, so with some gold paint on them. But they're glued to the wheels, so they spin with the wheel. And then I 3D printed my own wheels, tires, I mean, as well. Have some spacers in there. I had some black paint in these front vents and turn signals there. Black paint up in these vents here. And then in the back as well, all that paint work there. So I think it turned out a little bit better than stock, obviously. It actually does roll, not that I care so much, but I just reused the actual axles, and I didn't even adjust the ride height. I made the tires plus size so they fill in the wheel wells more. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple other McLaren F1s because I like this car. Here are a couple of the liveries, your less common liveries. Although actually that's pretty common to me, but I don't think I've ever seen that livery on that one. Okay, so the one that actually won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1995, that one's by Kyosho. Kyosho, I'm gonna guess, is True 64, and that's why it looks so much smaller. Doesn't have any brakes though, but I mean that thing was probably like $6 or $7 when it was brand new, so it's quite fantastic factoring in that original selling price. We do have the recently released stock street car of the McLaren F1, which I've already done a video and 3D printed brakes of the wheels and brakes on this one. And then I did a different video comparing to the Tomica. So in fact, since this is so small and realistic, I'm going to put the three that are not realistic all together. So it has the same type of 3D printed wheels on this Tomica. I forget what scale the other road cars were at, but these all look relatively around the same scale. Right? It's understandable the Hot Wheels would be the same scale because they're trying to fit those racetracks. But the Tomica even looks kind of similar in scale. So in fact, let me move these road cars next to each other again. No, the Tomica's a little bigger actually than that silver road car. Alright. Now, let me get a solar coaster and let this guy take a spin on its own. I think it would have been cool if they actually copied, you know, a real livery like that, but obviously that would take money to pay the licensing for liveries, but it seems Hot Wheels could do it. I mean, they do it for other cars, so. But I guess if this is a made-up, maybe this is a real livery, I just don't know. Please leave a comment. But if it is made up, it still looks like a racing livery, so credit to Hot Wheels there. Yeah, so I've talked about the shortcomings of this, but again, factoring the retail price of these things, I think it's still pretty good. Alright, well, thanks for watching this, and hopefully someday some other McLaren F1s will come out by some other brand, and there'll be a video on those. Alright, until then, see you around.